17-year-old Rhoda Williams was a gifted astrophysics student. Since childhood, she had been interested in space and planetary exploration, and now her biggest dream was finally becoming real. She had been accepted into MIT, one of the world's top science institutes. Her future was finally within reach. Only one last step remained. After celebrating her success with friends, Rhoda, slightly intoxicated and filled with excitement, started driving home. That's when a breaking news report on the radio caught her attention. Reporters said that a mysterious planet had suddenly appeared in the sky. Scientists believed it was identical to Earth. The same oceans, the same clouds, the same blue color, and shockingly, it was visible to the naked eye. Rhoda's heart raced. She lifted her eyes from the road and looked at the sky until she found it, a small blue dot shining in the darkness. She was distracted and stared at it for a moment, but in that careless moment, everything changed. Her car crashed into another vehicle, stopped at a traffic signal. Inside was a family: John Burroughs, his pregnant wife, and their 5-year-old son. John survived, but went into a coma. His wife and child died immediately. Rhoda escaped with minor injuries, but her dreams, MIT, her future, everything she worked for, were destroyed that night. Because she was a minor, her name was never revealed to the public. But the next 4 years of her life were spent in a juvenile detention center. For Rhoda, those years were not just a punishment. They were a constant reminder of her guilt, and a period filled with regret. When she was finally released, the world outside had changed. The blue dot scientists had once mentioned had moved closer to Earth. It was now clearly a mirror image of our planet, like a complete duplicate floating in space. No one understood where this second Earth had come from, why it appeared so suddenly, or how it existed without affecting the solar system. While scientists searched for answers, the public named the planet Earth 2, but for Rhoda, Earth 2 was a painful reminder of the night that ruined her life. Her parents wanted her to return to her old routine, but the bright, hopeful girl they once knew was no longer there. Instead, she had become a quiet, broken 21-year-old who carried guilt everywhere she went, not only for losing her future, but also for destroying a family's life. Overwhelmed by remorse, she wanted to punish herself. She took a job as a janitor at her former high school, the place where she once dreamed of studying the universe. In the same classrooms where she had planned her future, she now cleaned floors. She wanted to live a simple, humble life, as a way to face her guilt. One day, she returned to the scene of the accident. There, she noticed a man placing a small toy at the spot before walking away. That man was John Burroughs, the person whose life she had unknowingly destroyed. He had finally awakened from his coma. Back home, Rhoda searched for him online. She learned he had once been a talented musician, and that her identity had never been revealed to him. John had no idea she was responsible for the tragedy. The weight of her guilt became even harder to bear. Rhoda believed that apologizing might give her a small amount of relief. She found John's address and went to his home late at night. But when she stood at his door, she couldn't gather the courage to knock. Through the window, she saw what his life had become: a man consumed by alcohol, disconnected from the music he once loved. Seeing him like that made her feel even worse. She left and walked to a deserted area covered in snow. There, she removed her clothes and lay down on the freezing ground, as if trying to disappear. The cold hit her body sharply. Her blood felt like it was freezing, yet she didn't move. She curled up in the cold until her body shut down, and she lost consciousness. The next morning, she woke up in a hospital bed. Her parents were beside her, scared and worried, but Rhoda felt nothing, except the wish that she hadn't survived. Then, a news report on the hospital television caught her attention. Scientists confirmed that the blue dot in the sky, Earth 2, was a real planet. There was life on it, possibly intelligent life. And now, the government was preparing to send a mission there. A public competition was announced. Anyone could enter by writing a short essay. The question was, why should you get a ticket to Earth 2? Desperate for escape and hoping for some form of redemption, Rhoda entered the competition. She hoped that traveling to Earth 2 might help her get away from her overwhelming guilt. After submitting her essay, she returned to her job as a janitor. One day, while cleaning the school, she noticed a message written on the wall saying that Earth 2 was a warning that the world was about to end. But instead of fear, those words gave her something she lacked: courage. If the world was ending, she had no reason left to hide. She decided it was time to face the truth. Rhoda went straight to John's house, determined to finally apologize and free herself from the burden she carried. Her heart pounded as she stood at his door. She gathered all her courage and knocked. The door opened, and she saw a tired, broken man, John Burroughs. His home was filled with memories and sadness. When he asked, "Who are you?" Rhoda's prepared confession disappeared from her mind. Fear trapped her words. Seeing how hurt he was, she panicked and told a lie. "I'm from a cleaning service. I came to clean your house. It's a free trial." John said he didn't need a cleaner and closed the door. Rhoda was about to leave when he opened it again and asked, "What did you say? A free trial? So you'll clean my house for free?" Rhoda nervously agreed, and John let her inside. His home showed the state of his life, messy and neglected. Bottles were scattered everywhere. Rhoda felt trapped by the lie she had told. She wanted to leave, but as she reached the door, she realized that if she walked away now, she might never see him again, and she still wasn't ready to confess the truth. Hoping that helping him might give her a small sense of relief, she stayed and cleaned. By evening, the house looked completely different. As she prepared to leave, John stopped her. He said he liked her work and asked her to return the next week. Rhoda couldn't say no. She went home determined that next time, she would finally tell him the truth. She spent the entire week practicing her confession, but when she returned, John opened the door, told her to start cleaning, and went straight to his room. Rhoda worked quietly. Later, John handed her a check and sat in silence, lost in his memories. Rhoda accepted the check, but she didn't want his money. All she wanted was forgiveness. Week after week, she kept visiting. One night, Rhoda came home and saw her family watching a live broadcast. Scientists were about to contact Earth 2 for the first time. Dr. Joan Tallis, a leader in the search for intelligent life, sent out a message. "This is Earth, United States. I'm Dr. Joan Tallis. Can you hear me?" The world waited. No response. She tried again. "I'm repeating. Dr. Joan Tallis, from the United States of Earth. Can anyone hear me?" Suddenly, a faint, distorted voice replied, "Yes, we are." The station went silent. Then the same voice repeated, "I'm Dr. Joan Tallis. Can anyone hear me?" Dr. Joan froze. It wasn't coming from her own equipment, and it wasn't an echo. She asked her team to switch channels, but the voice returned, clearer this time. "Hello. My name is Joan Tallis. I'm the city director. I'm calling from Mountain View, California." The world reacted in shock. The voice wasn't just similar. It was her, same name, same tone. Dr. Jones steadied herself and asked, "Can you tell me your date of birth?" The reply came, May 7th, 1954, born at Robinson Hope Hospital in Mount Pleasant, New York. It was exactly the same as hers. Shaken, she went further. "When I was a child, I visited Cape Canaveral. Did you?" "Yes," the voice answered. "I was 11 years old." The details matched perfectly. Finally, Dr. Joan asked, "What did you buy at the gift shop?" The reply came instantly, "Space food. Astro strawberries. I thought I'd go to space someday." It was the exact answer she had written earlier. Earth 2 wasn't just another planet. It was a mirror. Every major rule of science suddenly felt uncertain. Earth 2 was a complete copy of Earth. Every person had another version of themselves, a world where memories, choices, and possibilities matched exactly. When Dr. Joan tried to communicate, her counterpart on Earth 2 did the same at the exact same moment. This discovery forced humanity to question everything. If another version of me exists, are they better? Did they make the same mistakes? Could meeting them help me change my life? These questions spread everywhere, and they echoed even louder in Rhoda's mind. The next day, she went to John's house and found him looking at Earth 2 through his telescope. He also wondered if another John existed out there, a version who might be watching him. He invited Rhoda to look, and slowly, he began to appreciate her company. Over time, they formed an unexpected bond. They talked for long hours, played small games, and John often drove her home. Rhoda made sure he never felt alone. One day, Rhoda mentioned that she had entered the Ticket to Earth 2 competition. John's reaction was immediate and unsettling. He didn't take it well. "Why do you want to go?" he asked. "Why risk your life? No one even knows if this mission will work. You don't know what's out there." Rhoda quietly replied, "That's why I want to see it." But then John noticed something that changed the atmosphere completely. Rhoda had washed and folded his late wife's sweater, the one he kept on the bed, because it still carried her scent. To him, it wasn't just clothing, it was a part of his past he still held on to. Now that last trace was gone, his grief turned into anger. He yelled at Rhoda and threw her out of the house. Heartbroken, Rhoda went home. The next day, she returned to her cleaning job at the school, completely overwhelmed by guilt. That evening, she was surprised to see John's car outside her house. John approached her, filled with regret. He apologized for how he had acted. Rhoda, fighting back tears, said she should be the one apologizing. John then asked if she would go somewhere with him. When Rhoda agreed, he took her to an empty concert hall. Inside the silent open space, John picked up his violin and played. The music expressed everything he hadn't been able to say, his pain, his struggles, and the small hope Rhoda had brought into his life. His playing showed the feelings he couldn't put into words. That night, they held each other. For the first time in years, Rhoda felt a sense of relief. The next morning, she returned home with a lighter heart. A letter was waiting for her, and it changed everything. She had won the Ticket to Earth 2. She would be part of the first mission to the Mirror Planet. Tears filled her eyes. Her lifelong dream was finally real. She rushed to tell John, but instead of being happy for her, he looked crushed. He had grown to love her deeply. He had imagined rebuilding his life with her. Now she was leaving. Still, he forced himself to smile. He cooked her dinner and tried to celebrate. But it was clear he was terrified of losing her. Eventually, John broke down. He held her hand and said, "Please, Rhoda, don't go. I'll be alone again." Rhoda told him she had to go, but John begged her to stay. Seeing the pain in his eyes, Rhoda finally gave in. "Okay," she said softly, "I'll stay, but you need to hear a story first. And if, after hearing it, you still want me here, I won't leave." And then Rhoda finally revealed the truth she had been carrying for 4 years. She told him a story about a girl who saw a blue dot in the sky, and, in that distracted moment, caused an accident that destroyed a family. When she finished, the entire room fell silent. The air felt heavy, as if everything had frozen. John's expression shifted into shock and rage. He exploded, shouting at her, and threw Rhoda out of his house, and out of his life. The fragile relationship they had built, based on hope and lies, collapsed instantly. Rhoda walked home in tears, only to find reporters and TV crews surrounding her house. Journalists yelled questions. The world now knew she had won the mission to Earth 2. People everywhere were offering huge amounts of money for the ticket, but Rhoda didn't see it as a reward. To her, it was her only way out, the only escape from the life she no longer wanted, and she wasn't going to let anyone take it from her. She prepared to leave, ready to cut all ties with this world. But then a voice from the television caught her attention. Dr. Richard, a well-known astrophysicist, was explaining a new idea called the broken mirror theory. He said that people had believed Earth 2 was a perfect copy of Earth, where every person, every moment, and every event matched exactly. But what if the similarity had broken at some point? What if one small change, a different choice, a single missed word, caused the two worlds to drift apart? That tiny difference could have changed the entire timeline. These words hit Rhoda like a shock. For the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of purpose. Without thinking twice, she ran to John's house. She knocked on his door, then she began hitting it harder. She cried, and begged him to speak with her one last time. Inside, John shouted at her to leave, but this time, Rhoda wouldn't stop. She climbed through his window. When John saw her there, all the anger he had been holding inside came rushing out. He attacked her, and began choking her. Rhoda didn't fight back. She looked straight into his eyes and said, "Just listen to me once. After that, if you want, you can kill me." Her words, and the pain in her voice, stopped him. His grip loosened. Then he walked into another room, and broke down crying. Rhoda then spoke quietly. "There's a theory, John. I heard it on TV. They said the two worlds could break apart in a single moment. So maybe the day we first saw Earth 2 in the sky, something happened that separated the worlds. That night, 4 years ago, when I saw that blue dot and caused the accident, maybe that was the moment everything changed. Think, John, if I hadn't looked up that night, if the accident never happened, maybe your family would still be alive in the other world." Then Rhoda handed John her Earth 2 ticket, the only thing she had left, and quietly walked away. She realized John needed it more than she did. For the first time in 4 years, her heart felt lighter, and for John, a new sense of hope appeared. Rhoda had stopped running from her life, and was ready to live again. A few days later, Rhoda saw the moment the world had been waiting for. On the screen showing the flight launch, John appeared, smiling, a smile full of hope and a new beginning. Seeing him happy made Rhoda feel like her own wounds were healing. Her journey of atonement was complete. 4 months passed. Rhoda learned to rebuild her life and move forward. One evening, returning home from work, she noticed someone standing at her door, a woman with Rhoda's exact face. But her expression was confident, not filled with regret. Her clothes were not those of a cleaner. She looked like a successful astrophysicist. At that moment, Rhoda understood everything. The broken mirror theory was real. In that world, Rhoda never looked up at the sky that night. She never had the accident. She went to MIT. She followed her dreams. And today, she had been rewarded with a ticket to Earth. And if that Rhoda was here, it meant only one thing. John's family was alive in that other world. It also meant that the same situation John faced on Earth 2 was now before Rhoda. The two Rhodas just stared at each other, and the film leaves a deep question. If you ever meet yourself, a version who never made your mistakes, would you be able to face them? No one knows, and that is why the film ends here, leaving the question open for us. Friends, if you liked this video and got lost in the story while watching, please subscribe to support us, so we can keep bringing you more videos like this. Thanks for watching.